Okay, so question number 40 from reading 20. They have given us the standard deviation of stock A and stock B, and the correlation between the two stocks is +1. So when the correlation is -1, we get the maximum benefits. So the alpha risk will reduce when the correlation is -1. So correlation ranges from -1 to +1 that we have discussed. And यहाँ पे we have been asked the formula we have been asked to calculate the standard deviation of the stock. So the formula for calculating the standard deviation is it's sigma p equal to W1 sigma 1 whole square plus W2 sigma 2 whole square plus 2 W1 sigma 1 W2 sigma 2 R. That's the formula, and it is under root of all these things. Yeah, so this is the formula. Now they have given options 100% in stock B. We know everything. यहाँ पे एक important point है. The correlation between the stocks is perfectly positively correlated, meaning the correlation is +1. Now, do I need to use this formula and do the entire calculation? There are three ways in which this question can be solved. One is only theoretical way. There is no need to calculate also. So, but let's do the calculation for better understanding. I'll tell you all the three ways. So this is the formula. If we go formula wise, तो कैसे होगा? This is the longest method which I'm doing right now. So let's see. 100% in stock B. So stock A में कुछ भी नहीं है. So W1 का जो weight रहेगा, that's 0% because everything invested in stock B. So first term would be 0 आ जाएगा यहाँ पे. Only second term आएगा and third term would also be 0. Why? Because W1 is 0. 0% is invested in stock 1, stock A. So this is 0, and only second term would be there. So let's do the calculation. W1 में it is we want this term W2, so 100% is invested in stock B, so 100% into sigma 2, the deviation of stock B is given as 0.3, so that's 0.3. So W2 sigma 2 and uska square. So I'm storing this in memory number 2 because ये second term है तो I'll store in memory number 2 only. Then recall 1 plus recall 2 plus recall 3 usually हम जो करते हैं, but recall 1 and recall 2 में मेरा 0 है because W1 is 0. Now I'll take the under root of entire thing. So यहाँ पे take the square root of this, which is 0.30, मतलब 30%. Storing this in memory number 7. So यहाँ पे the portfolio risk standard deviation we got is 30%. Let's see for option B and C क्या आता है. Now I'm directly doing the calculations. 30% in stock A. Look at the calculations very carefully. थोड़ा लंबा calculation है. So 30% in stock A, 30% into standard deviation. So W1 into sigma 1 is 0.5 equal to square of this thing. Store this in memory number 1. Second term के लिए W2 is given in the option as 70%. So 70% into sigma 2 is 0.3. Standard deviation is given as for stock B 0.3 and square of all those. Store this in memory number 2. And तीसरे में 2 into W1. W1 is 30%. 2 into W1 into sigma 1, that's 0.5 into W2. W2 is 70%. 70% into sigma 2 is 0.3 into R तो 1 है equal to store this in memory number 3. Now add recall 1 plus recall 2 plus recall 3 equal to take square root of everything, it's 36%. So With this combination, I'm getting risk as 36%. Let's do for option C. 50% in stock A. So 50% into standard deviation of A is 0.5 equal to square and then store in memory number 1. Then W2 maybe 50% stock B का weight into standard deviation of B and then square. Store this in memory number 2. And third term के लिए 2 into W1, that's 50% into sigma 1.5 into W2 is again 50%. Sigma 2 is 0.3 and into R is 1 equal to, store this in memory number 3, then recall 1 plus recall 2 plus recall 3 equal to, and take the square root. So that came to 40%. So I have got 30%, 36% and 40%, and we want to minimize the we want minimum standard deviation. So the minimum standard deviation is with this option. So the answer for this question is A. Now there is no need for this entire calculation. Understand one thing, when there is a positive correlation, +1 correlation hoga, so there is one simple formula which you can use. It's W1 sigma 1 plus W2 sigma 2. That's it. No square root, nothing. How we have come to this formula derivation, that's not there in your syllabus, but this formula can only be used when it is perfectly positively correlated. So you can use this formula also, W1, W2, where W1 would be you have to again do the trial and error. So that is the other thing. You will get the same answers, 30%, 36% and 40%. This is the second way. And third way is without calculation. How without calculation? So they have given the stocks are perfectly positively correlated. मतलब there is no need of diversification. क्यों? Because +1 correlation दिया है, so diversification करके कुछ फायदा ही नहीं है. Diversification का benefit कब होता है? जब correlation is less than +1. So कुछ भी हो, even if it is 0.99, थोड़ा तो रिस्क कम होगा, बट यहाँ पे इट इज परफेक्टली पॉजिटिवली कोरिलेटेड, सो देयर इज नो नीड ऑफ द डाइवर्सिफिकेशन. सो यू कैन डायरेक्टली इन्वेस्ट 100% इनटू वन ऑफ द स्टॉक बिकॉज देयर आर नो डाइवर्सिफिकेशन बेनिफिट्स. And only यहाँ पे option is only 100% in stock B. So that way also you can get to the answer. That answer would be A. Now, why only 100% in stock B? Why not 100% into stock A? So यहाँ पे let's assume अगर option B में दिया होता 100% in stock A. So कौन सा choose करना है? We want minimum standard deviation. मतलब we want minimum risk. So minimum risk कहाँ पे है? The standard deviation of stock A is 0.5 and the standard deviation of stock B is 0.3. So यहाँ पे the standard deviation for stock B is low. So we'll invest 100% into stock B so that we'll have the minimum risk for the portfolio. Yeah. So directly also you can get to the answer. So the answer is A.